Okay, let's go live. This is James Maduke speaking, and what have I got for you today? Well, if you're an online course creator, maybe you've been hearing all the buzz with ChatGPT and all these other things or tools about creating online content for your online course. If that's you and you're wondering about all this news that's coming out this week about the new version of ChatGPT, I just want to let you know that you can relax. You don't have to worry about it. So stick around and I'm going to go through the different AI tools that are great for creating an online course, especially if you're just starting out and you're scared by all of this stuff. And I think you're going to, have a little sigh of relief when we cover the couple things. And this, again, is important for online course creators, someone who's just starting out. Now, if you're wondering who I am and haven't watched any of these videos before on the channel, I've been online since '97 with my first domain, virtualselling.com. I've created thousands now of video tutorials and also over 100 different courses and mini courses covering everything to do with digital marketing, selling online, and creating great content for people who want to just do that. So that's kind of where I'm at this point, and I keep track, obviously, of all of the AI stuff that's happening. And more importantly, I use these tools on a regular basis for myself and for my customers and clients who are interested in creating online courses. And again, if you haven't gone to trainingsites.io, please do, trainingsites.io. I'd love to talk to you, and like and subscribe to the channel if this kind of information is something that you like. Here's kind of the thing that I want to get across right up front. I still highly recommend Claude AI over ChatGPT and any of the other tools that are available. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why I still recommend Claude, even though ChatGPT just came out with something end of last week. You'll hear the term called O1 Preview or Strawberry related with ChatGPT. And I'm going to explain what that is and how it fits in. But I just want to touch on the big picture here. And what is that? It's the fact that when you are creating online courses or online tutorials, any of the material that you create is all about context. It's about context. And if you're not really sure what context is and how it figures into this, is that anytime we give a prompt to ChatGPT, what it has to do is it has to go back into history before it gives a response. And the more context we can give it, the better it can respond. So I'll give you an example. If I'm creating a course on how to use a digital camera, and I say, create a course on how to use a digital camera, I'll get one response. But if I say, create an online course for beginners who are technically challenged on how to use a digital camera, I'll get a different response. And if I say another level of depth or context, I'm going to get yet a different response. So the more context we can give to ChatGPT, the more we'll be able to get better responses that get us better courses that we're happy with. So that's the first thing. It allows that context around the information that it pulls from. It's not generic. It gets more specific each and every time. The other thing is you want to make sure that when you ask a question, it gets gives a response that's specific for us and our interactions with it. Not a generic one for all the people asking, but one for our unique situation. So we want to make sure that the information, again, is specific to us, specific to the user and specific to us. The next thing is the tone and the style, because if we add context on how technical or how friendly, how conversational, how authentic we want it to be, our ability to do that gives completely different answers or responses back from ChatGPT that we may not have either been considering or in the style that is comfortable for us and, more importantly, important to the people that we're trying to create the content for. And the big one here is the specificity of the query, because remember, we're asking it to do something. If we give a very basic or no context on the request, what happens is that the response that we get is a generic response. The more we can narrow down and make that more aware of the unique situation we're in, the better the response we can get. Now, I covered a whole bunch of these different ideas and making sure you get good responses, especially for creating online courses. I introduced in one of the other videos that I have, actually, if you go and take a look here, let me pull this one up. I believe it's one of the free video tutorials here on the trainingsites.io one. I don't want to say, there's over 200 of these. So the whole idea here is we've got I teach a model called Teach, and that is specifically for creating online courses. And in that model, it's not a framework that you may have heard a word bandied about for using specific frameworks for prompting. This is a bigger sort of strategy for using them. And we talked about all of the different types of prompts you can use, whether they be role-based prompts or chain of thought prompts or conversational prompts or mega prompts. There's all sorts of different ones that you use in the different part of creating an online course. So I have the Teach model, and again, it's in the library there if you're interested in it. And the part that's important about that is it adds context to everything that you're doing. So I went off in a bit of a tangent here about context, and it's really important because this brand new version of ChatGPT does not, in my opinion, apply to the context for creating online courses. And what do I mean by that specifically? Well, let's take a look and see what you actually see when you when you're doing a prompt. And actually, let me do this first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this one, and hopefully you can see the page here. This one is important. This is from the OpenAI. Let me do this. This is the OpenAI blog, basically, and it's learning to reason with LMX. I'll put the link below, of course, to all of this. But this one, the new version that came out was made specifically, and this is in the documentation here. What they've done is they said, you know what, we want it to be a little more responsive, or think a little bit more before it gives its response. So it's trying to kind of look deeper without adding context. But the reason I think it doesn't worry about context to the same extent is because what it's for in highly data efficient training processes. So the thing that it's doing is it's stuff for US Math Olympiad, PhD level in benchmark of physics, biology, and chemistry problems. This particular build of ChatGPT is not for online course creating. It's not one that focuses on, or the changes focus on making sure that your courses are better. If you want to create some computer code, if you want to answer physics questions or theorems or biology and stuff, absolutely, it's going to make a big difference for you. But course creators, I don't think so at all. So I wouldn't get really hung up and worried about it. I think what's more important for online course creators still is the fact that you can go to, as an example, let me do one here, for example. Here's what I did. And what I did is I just stole one of the prompts, or an example prompt up here, and I used it in I used it in Claude, create a detailed outline for a 6-module SEO course for small business owners, include main topics, subtopics, and key learning objectives for each model. So this is just a basic, non-specific prompt in this particular case. I also gave the same prompt to ChatGPT. And I'll do this one again because you'll notice the only difference here. And this is ChatGPT. First of all, if you're using ChatGPT, I think when I'm recording this, it's actually available for all users. I have a paid version, so I'm not 100% on that. But I will show you if you want to see it. See my mouse up here in the top, kind of left, before the left column. You'll see it has the different ones that are available. You might have been using the GPT-4o there. This new one is 01-preview. And they're calling it reasoning, which means that it takes a little bit more time to think through the different options available, whereas it maybe didn't before. But if I put this prompt in, I'm just going to copy it, and we'll start a new chat here. We'll put the prompt in down at the bottom and see what we get. Now watch when I hit click, you're going to see one thing that's kind of different is when I click it, it's going to give me a little thinking sign here, a little message. And then what it does is it's actually stepping through. So the big difference in the response here is because it's like being a little more analytical or larger. When you have prompts that are complex, it's going through all of the different variations before it responds. And that's the big difference here. I don't think it really applies or helps at this point online course creators, because all of the other prompts we showed you in the teach model and all the other videos that we did, it allows you to dig down on the context to get the responses that you want. And it's not cut and dry like a physics question or a math question where there's a right and a wrong answer. So this is the one it came up with. Introduction to SEO for small business, some subtopics, key learning objectives. So it came up with our 6 modules, and it basically came up with some course details, which is kind of cool, but there's nothing special there that wouldn't come out if we had used the basic one before. And just to do it fresh, I'm going to do another new prompt because I don't want it to remember what we were just doing in that one. Let me do it again. You can see that it just started going ahead, no waiting, nothing like that. It was just strictly out. And it's rifling through. And we'll take a look in a sec if the prompts or the thing is different. So what does this actually mean to an online course creator? What is it that's important about this? I think the thing that you want to focus on is if you're going to use these ChatGPT tools for online course creation, which isn't as logical in many cases, and it allows you to be authentic, using Claude and adding the proper context is far more efficient than going and figuring out, oh, how do I use this brand new version, or how do I change my prompts to use this brand new version of ChatGPT. What is it? 01-preview. So I wouldn't really get too hung up on it. Let's take a look and see what we got here. So this first one, let me go to the top. Thought for 28 seconds, holy mackerel. So we've got main topics, SEO for small business, and it's got 4 points. The one we did secondly, go to the top here again. It's got a completely different layout for it. Now, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Here's the important part. If I go and I use that same, and this is the big reason that I like Claude better. I'm going to open up Claude here just so that you see it. And I use the same prompt in Claude just so that you can actually see what's going on here. Create a detailed outline for a 6-module SEO course for small business owners, include main topics, subtopics, and key learning objectives. Now, here's the part that is great for me as an online course creator, and this is why I kind of prefer it over and above the fact that the new version of ChatGPT doesn't even address anything for course creators. These things are called artifacts here, where my mouse is moving, and that is exactly that, a basic response that we asked for, and over here on the right-hand side, but it has the explanation of the response that's here as well. So if I want to open this up, you can see that there's the actual course that has been created. And we've got the main topic, subtopics, learning objectives, and all the bullet points that go through it. The other thing is that it's also included the learning objectives for each of the other ones that doesn't come up. And also it's got the 6 modules. Here's the part that is kind of cool for me, is that it gives you the pieces and explains while we're using it. If I go back and I take a look at the SEO course that's here, there's no context at all for why it came up with it, what was it about. And if you're having a conversation or using a conversational prompting or chain of thought prompts where you keep on fine-tuning and refining it, the fact that you have those archives in the Claude one, I think is much better. So we can add contents to this to make sure that it pulls from the same area, and that's something we've covered in some of the other videos. I want to show you one other thing for online course creators. Again, this is like the troika, or the 3 pieces. There's actually 4 pieces, I think, that are really important for online course creators. I think I'll do another video on that, on why it is, but these are the 4 pieces. Perplexity.ai is a search engine. Don't use Google anymore. Use Perplexity.ai. Use ChatGPT. Use Claude. and use this next one I'm going to show you, which is called notebooklm.google.com, and I'll put the links below. This one is kind of a mix between Perplexity.ai and Claude. And what do I mean by that? The thing is that this one allows you, if we create a new notebook, what it allows you to do is to upload up to 50 documents. Now, why do you want to do that? Because you want to add context. If I'm using ChatGPT, I have to add some documents, I can if I can find them, and add maybe some videos that are there. And I put it up, but there's no archive of it. There's no place to really get snapshots of the answers and responses and keep them organized in a project. ChatGPT doesn't have projects. The new version doesn't have projects. So if I'm using Claude, I have those archives or those artifacts, pardon me, to organize the lessons and the courses and the responses that I get. And it comes across a little more conversational, personal and authentic. So that's a good part. The next part is I have this Notebook LM from Google, which I didn't have access to last month. And what this does is if you have course materials that have been used before, whether that be a video, a Google Doc, slides, any kind of content, PDFs, text, Markdown. Now remember, Markdown is how you can export other pieces from Claude.ai or ChatGPT. You can export pieces and put them, save them as particular Markdown documents. This Notebook LLM allows you to put together all of the content you've archived and curated, and you can use prompts to actually go and create your course content based on all of the context that you already have. So you kind of got a couple choices here. You're looking at all this stuff and you're thinking, how can I create a great course? Or what's important for me creating a course, an online course, or a lesson or tutorial, anything where you're sharing your expertise or trying to answer a specific question for your customers or your students. I don't think it's necessarily about getting a right or a wrong answer unless you're teaching physics or chemistry or biology. Then I would find out about the new version, the 01 preview, really get under the hood and see how that affects you. But for the most part, if you're an online course creator and you're teaching, doesn't matter if it's a skill still or it's any kind of content that involves interacting with people and not interacting with data, I think it's a much better choice to stay with Claude for your course creation, use Perplexity for some research, play it off against ChatGPT to make sure you get a rounded out piece, and create archives in your notebooks here to add context to everything that you're doing. So this is exciting times for ChatGPT stuff and all of this AI tools, but I think we have to kind of pick and choose which are the ones that are specific to online course creating, teaching online, and being able to answer questions in a way that makes sense to the people that we're trying to help. So hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry, we've got a lot more of them. I do 1 to 2 of these every day. You can go to trainingsites.io, make sure to sign up for the community there that's free, and ask questions, ask for videos. I'll do them as best as I can. And I'm here to help you start building, growing education business. So like and subscribe to the channel. And I think there'll be another video on one of these corners here. Just pick that next one and we'll learn a little bit more about, teaching online and having some fun. So take care, expect the best.